World Literature in the Digital Age is a course that was created about 3 years ago. And in this course, we read literature from all over the world. And then, in addition to writing the traditional essay, we do some digital projects. This is a website that I created that shows a lot of what we do. The website address will be in Google Classroom, which you can access through your child. But along the top, these are the different categories of things that we have done in the past, and I hope to get most of them done this year. And what I like to do is end the year with a podcast project, and all of the students have chosen a culture that they're going to read about throughout the year, and not necessarily reading like nonfiction articles, but more reading the fiction of that culture and learning about the values and traditions of that culture through their fiction. So they'll have a project at the end where they'll create this podcast from what they've been reading all year. We've been reading short stories right now, and we're just coming to the end of that, and the students are writing an essay. We didn't read all these. These are just some options that I've put on there if people are looking for short stories to read. And I think the next thing that we're going to do is Persepolis, which is a graphic novel about Iran and the revolution in the 70s. It's really good. The students usually love it, and they also are introduced to graphic novels if they haven't read them before. We will also read I Am the Messenger, which is an Australian book, The Namesake by Jhumpa Lahiri, which is Indian. I think over here, Chronicle of a Death Foretold is Latin American. It's set in Colombia. The author is Colombian, and we learn a little bit about magical realism. We also will do a little poetry in December and do poetry out loud. I don't know if we'll get to Macbeth. I would like to, but we'll see. It's just hard with this shortened, the amount of time we see the kids. Everything is sort of being done differently than I usually do it, because usually I have the students do a lot of things together in class and a lot of discussions together. And now we're doing just one whole class discussion because we can't really get into small groups. So it's kind of changing the feel of the class. It's not really as dynamic as it usually is, but try to figure out ways to get that to change. The other thing I want to show you quickly is just Google Classroom. The only way you can see all of this is if you have your child's login. And if you have your child's login, you can see all of the assignments that I post, and they're all here in classwork, and it's broken down into topics, and each topic is a week. This is the one I'm starting for next week, but this is the one for this week. So you can see the first thing that I do, or first thing that I post on there, is a calendar for the week. And this shows the students what they should be doing each day, whether they're in school or out of school. And so they should always be referring to that. Unfortunately, they often just refer to this section, which, up until a few minutes ago when I didn't put a due date on the rough draft, because on the calendar I had said write at least 2 paragraphs. And there were a lot of blank pages when I just checked. They should be reading their book for the podcast project. And then if we go back here to classwork, under the calendar is each assignment for each day. Sometimes things in the past, they were just ongoing, and now I have to have something for each day. So it's just a little bit different, but I just tried to break it down, which is actually better for them anyway in writing an essay, because I want them to do these steps, and often they just like to write the essay. So that gives you a little insight into Google Classroom, and you can also see your child's work on there. So if you want to see it, you need to log in. Thank you.